That's so funny. I was literally just talking outside. I think, I'm sure I'm presenting soon. And then I hear, I'm up. Okay. All right. So this session is going to, just before heading into the break, I'm going to be talking about some of the opportunities with WI. Now, in my first session, I laid out my thesis, right, as far as how I see things unfolding. What is so crazy? Just to give me some idea, who's involved in the business exit space in some way? Okay, interesting. So what's so beautiful about our ecosystem is that, and this is what I realized very early on, everyone that's involved that loves being involved in the innovation space, that only represents a percentage of their time typically, or a percentage of their capital. There's also typically got investments in funds. They've got typically investments. They're looking at business opportunities for sales sites and so forth. So for me, it's a natural, like you're going to see us in November next year, we're going to be rolling out the next stage of the business sales aspect. We're going to do a soft launch for our business sales product. And then next year we'll be a lot more aggressive in February, where we're actually going to be rolling out it completely, and it's going to become a core product. And you'll see for Capital HQ, we're going to integrate effectively the components of capital raising, debt finance, and then also business exit into the one product solution for founders, for ecosystem, etc. Because to me, what is so frustrating about this space is I see the whole business exit space as exactly how I saw the startup space when we first come in 15 years ago, where it's very fragmented, it's disintegrated, and there's also very little information in it. In fact, one of the biggest frustrations for me about the startup space is that most founders get educated about capital raising. They get told that the capital raising process is send out your pitch deck and then wait for money to come back in, is pretty much the strategy. And in fact, everyone spends so much time on the pitch deck, not understanding the nuance of the relationship process and so forth. So for us, we're all about being an ecosystem player. We're about enabling opportunities, and we're also about education as well. So as I mentioned, one big initiative for us next year is we're going to be hosting a conference called the Business Exit Summit. And that's going to be for the ecosystem and also for companies that are thinking about the process of selling, right? Or involved in a business where, like, who can agree that session with Pete where he was talking about how to structure a business and things to do beforehand, basic stuff like that is fantastic. I can't wait to the session that we do with the panel session with Sam, Peter, and Ken, where we sort of do a deep dive on how they went from seed to scaling and then to exit at that sort of 8 and 9 figure level. That's super exciting to me. So to me, some of the opportunities that I'm going to be talking about in relation to Wholesale Investor is also about this. I want to create opportunities for whether you're a founder, whether you're an investor involved in businesses as a portfolio, or I just spoke to someone outside, they mentioned they've been brought in by their brother to assist, but they're basically been retired for 10 years, they're an investor. Either way, what I've realized, these circumstances and opportunities come about. So we want to create opportunities for everyone as actually part of that. So key things for us, that we've been focused on in 2024 has really been about that ecosystem approach. And today is a great representation of that. So just to give you some idea of where we sit right now, we've got now over 45,000 subscribers. That's across Australia, New Zealand, of course. Everyone forgets New Zealand, but Australia and New Zealand. We've got a channel partner in New Zealand as well. We're also got 5,000 to 6,000 subscribers in ASEAN. So if anyone's ever been who's been to any of our events in Singapore out of curiosity? A couple of you. Just as loved in Singapore as here, and people that have been coming to our events for like 5 to 10. Actually, we had a 10-year anniversary for how long we've been going to Singapore now, and it's one of my favorite places to go to. And then in the UK, like if you see in the UK, our investor evenings that we host there, we will literally send out 2 to 3 emails and we'll have 150 people coming along to our investor evenings that we host in the UK. Our Emergence in the UK had 450 to 500 attendees at it, right? So it's an exciting time when you take a platform approach to it. The 2 markets that I'm super interested in at the moment personally is India. So I'm part of a cohort with the New South Wales government for India. And then I'm super open to strategic ideas as it comes to the US with big players from a platform side. But also sneakily, without even sort of thinking about it too much, but, just being relentlessly consistent as we are, Capital HQ now also has its own ecosystem of over 28,000. right? So whilst we've been known for building the wholesale investor side, Capital HQ has also built its own little ecosystem as well. But everything we want to do is focus around, just improving what we do inside that platform, because to us, the engagement component, these investor events, the online stuff is super important. But as you notice, we're now moving more into the educational side. So to give you an idea, when we actually work with a company, what makes us unique about what we do, because whenever someone becomes a shareholder in my business, or they sort of learn about what we do for the first time, immediately in the next 3 months, they keep sending me an announcement of every single platform that gets announced. Now, just to be clear, we've been doing this for 15, 16 years, right? There is no one that I would consider a direct competitor to what we do. There's people with platforms, there's people that do advisory models, there's some people that do events. No one does the full integrated approach into how we've actually done it. So think about this, and also do it on a subscription basis, which makes us unique. So think about this. Has anyone ever been in a business for 15 years and still been able to say that they directly do not have any competitors? That is what's unique. I said people see competitors as crowdfunding platforms. To me, that's not my competitor. I do not lose business to crowd. Do you know when I lose business to? The craziest thing I lose business to is when an investor says to a company that, hey, we're going to look to invest. That's what I lose business to the most out of everything. But the reality is this ecosystem is so much bigger than just one conversation. And to me, it's about creating something that's also bigger. So what I realized was, because my background is marketing, the whole ecosystem's been geared on this approach of send out pitch decks, wait for magic to happen, right? We realized that the approach was how do we create a systematic way to allow investors to engage with opportunities, engage with the founders, get comfortable, and get to hear their perspective, their thesis on what they're doing. Because really this whole game is one thing. It's an alignment of thesis. You've got your investment thesis about what you're looking to invest into and what you think is going to be happening. The company's got their thesis on what they think is happening in their space and what they think is the potential opportunity. But of course, a pitch deck doesn't really quite help you sort of understand that thesis. You can only understand that if you get to spend some time with the founder, or if you get to hear, you get to ask some questions. It's like, well, how do we systematically do that through what we do? And this is how everything is being created out of it, and why the next step also we're doing articles on our clients as well, because we want to create different ways for companies we work with to communicate their thesis about how they're approaching things. And we want to give you, the investors, the opportunity to engage with that thesis. And then it's over to you to decide how you want to approach it. You can either decide you agree, disagree, or have a great discussion with them about your own thoughts. That's the way we've sort of thought about everything. But we've productized that in a unique way. Then, obviously, in March this year, we launched Capital HQ, and we were blown away by the instant sort of take up in how we were actually doing it. And we've just continued to grow from there in building that out. And as I mentioned to you in the first part, the opportunity for this space is around the whole private markets area. Now, if you have a look at this, we've already been dealing, everyone knows us for venture capital, right? What's really interesting is that what most people don't know is that from an actual business perspective, 38% of what we do, of our revenue, comes from funds and financial services. Whereas other people would think it'd be in other areas. But the reality is, all this stuff we are already doing except for business sales. And that's the next big move for us, because that is 10 times the size of the area that we're already working in, but represents a massive opportunity for everyone, whether you're a startup that's actually building a business, whether you're an investor that's involved in startups, some sort of stage, whether it be an exit, whether it be a secondary market opportunity or a full exit. At some stage, those opportunities will come about. Now, of course, we've been working with digital assets going right back to 2013. Independent Reserve was the first company we worked with. They did their seed round inside of our boardroom. When we started doing property as an area, where is it on there? So, companies like Folkestone have been our clients. When they were in 2012, or 2014, when they just become a listed company. Charter Hall has been we've worked some incredible companies in this whole area. And so that's when I look at that, I think this whole private markets opportunity is such a big space for all of us to participate in, no matter which side we're on, whether it be the investor, the business builder, or the industry participant side. And maybe some people will also spread their wings into new areas. We want to be a part. We want to play the role in facilitating and enabling that. So to me, everything we're thinking about is how we can enable global access to those private market opportunities and do that on the global front. So that starts for us November 1 on the business sales side, and that's the only missing piece in that. And then we'll continue to scale that out, over the next sort of 12 to 24 months. So these are the unique things. So whenever someone comes up and says to me, have you seen XYZ platform? Have you seen XYZ company? My thing I always go through, I said, do they do this? Do they do that? Do they do this? Like, these are the 6 elements which make what we do unique, right? Said people do 1 or 2 things, but that's really about it. These 6 elements up here, I said, are all different, and it's all done for a reason, because as I'm fortunate enough to have been doing this for 15 years. So I've worked out what are all the friction points, what are all the challenges, what are all the issues, etc. And it's a non-perfect ecosystem, but I understand, I do my best to try and bring all these different parts together. For example, the simple thing, like in the actual deal rooms, of the companies, what we encourage is to provide their significant news announcement. We provide frequently asked questions, etc., to assist investors to get access to what they want before they ask it. Simple stuff like that. The matchmaking component, integrating today's event. The nice part for all of you is every company that features, you've got their information literally sitting inside your phone. You can connect with them directly and then go have a conversation, but obviously set up a time to meet with them directly as well. But all this, I said, we've done our best. And the easiest way I explain it to people is, imagine walking into an investment bank and saying, can I access your investor clients? Can you filter them for me so that they're relevant? And then can I connect with them directly? That's effectively what we do. And then on the investor side is, can we do that as well for you? Say, can we filter things so that they're relevant for you based on what you're looking at, what you're interested in? Yes. Can we make it easy for you to access and connect? Yes. So this is the next big milestone for us, which is basically we're aiming over the next sort of couple months to execute on, is that one of the biggest time sucks for this whole process relates to information, whether it be, by the way, we're not aiming to help with pitch decks, because that's there's plenty of stuff to do that. But then all the creation of content that goes alongside of that, we're basically building out processes to instantly create that for the founders, so that instead of spending weeks and weeks and weeks creating all the content that they have to, it's instantly done for them. But the reason why it takes weeks is because they're doing it after hours, they're doing it on weekends, they're doing it in between, kids related stuff, etc. So it's just trying to facilitate. And then the outcome is that if they can have, potential, if we can make it easy for them to share articles, do investor updates, keep people updated, do social posts on what they're doing, etc., it creates more engagement points for you as the investor side. So some of the initiatives, I'll just go through this. These are, and by the way, I always start with the principles just so you understand where our head is at. The reality is, I think one of the biggest changes in business models coming out because of this challenging period over the last 2 years is, rather than everyone trying to do everything internally, everyone's creating the opportunity for revenue share, but because everyone's got either different skill sets, different networks, different access to ecosystems, etc. So we've created these 3 principles to think about how we think about things. And then also to get feedback from industry, from investors, from companies, etc., on how we can actually make this more streamlined, etc. So that's the next stage. And then obviously, this direct access to our ecosystem, the reason why we do that is because we know that no one else is willing to do it, right? Very few are willing to do that because everyone wants to try and tie everyone in for different success fees and so forth, which is fine if that's what they do. But we actually want to empower what they do on the reach out part, on the engagement component, etc. If we can make everything more accessible, if we can remove friction, if we can create more financial opportunities, whatever hat you're wearing, then the whole ecosystem wins, right? So that's how we sort of think about it from our product perspective. And then this is us, really moving into our role as a marketplace in creating more online opportunities, offline opportunities, And then also just leveraging what we've built because obviously software is infinite in its capacity and what it can actually handle and what it can do. So hence why we want to keep on creating more layers of opportunities across those different sectors, across those different areas. So a few things coming up. The big one I'll sort of talk about from today that I'm happy to chat with people about. Obviously we've got our channel partner opportunity, which is also aligned with our enterprise solutions as well. But the channel partner and enterprise opportunity is really around how we can work with, whether it be really active fund managers who are across multiple deals, or really active advisors who are also across multiple deals, because the reality is most advisors will turn away more deals than what they can ever handle just because they don't have access to investor ecosystems. Well, we want to leverage that because there's lots of skilled advisors not working on opportunities because of their lack of access to additional investors. So hence our role in facilitating that. But the vertical solution, as I mentioned, will be really focused around business sales as a starting point. And then we'll also look to create a product specifically for fund managers and family offices. But the first step is really around that business sales because it just represents such a big area. And it's the natural conclusion. If you think if you think about for us, for example, we've now worked with, I think it's 73 companies which have gone through an exit at some stage. So whether someone's looking to go through exit via IPO, via M&A, or if they're looking to get access to debt funding, the role for us is just to facilitate that as a capital engagement solution with Capital HQ. And we want to come out with pricing and so forth in such a way where it's just affordable for companies to set themselves up right and be prepared as they go through this actual process. Now, the scaling globally part, I won't talk too much to, but as I said, we do have master license opportunities available for different countries. Hence why I'm part of that cohort with India as an example. We're open to discussions around the US. Singapore, we've got fairly well covered. The other area I think is very relevant is obviously the Middle East, because there's obviously a lot of capital looking to find a home from the Middle East. And then the last one is more on the enterprise solutions, in that we think there's a great opportunity to work with the industry on their opportunities. So one of the things I'm super excited about this year is we've got a relationship with Innovise. Innovise are probably Australia's most successful deep tech, technology transfer company, and basically taking deep tech ideas, turning it into an actual commercialized solution, and then going through that process and listing on exchanges, and yet no one knows them because they just don't do media. They literally just do deals. And what's even incredible is they're engaged by NASA to do consultation on that tech transfer process. Some of their companies that have exited now, they've got, I think, 4 companies that have exited at 9-figure sums. And yet, who knows of Innovise? Because they just not done incredible work, but just don't sit inside the journalist's ear at the AFR, selling what they're doing every day, but yet one of Australia's most successful companies in that space. So that's the sort of area where we want to spend a lot more time in. Life science, renewable energy, agri-tech, all those sort of focuses that will be strong areas of opportunity over the next decade, we're looking to be involved in. These are the events that are coming up. We've got our Future Disrupted Conference. The Future Disrupted Conference is one of my favorite conferences to host each year, because in my slide I talked about the areas of innovation that I'm excited about. Well, this focuses around the 5 platform technologies, and 5 areas, whether it be energy storage or the energy transition, robotics, AI, genomics, life science, because there isn't too many genomics companies in Australia, and I'm missing one. Life science, energy, robotics, AI, and energy storage. Oh, blockchain. Sorry, you're right. Web3. Blockchain's the other one, right? So that's going to be, that entire conference is just focused purely around disruption, and is we hosted it last year, incredibly successful. If you like today, you'll absolutely love this, because it's just nice to sit down for a day and just absorb into where is everything going from an innovation perspective. And we'll be bringing the people together that are actually leading this change, whether they're founders or investors, into that actual conference. And then next year, we're going to be hosting our Emergence 2025. Emergence is the biggest thing that we do each year. We'll have anywhere between 500 to 1,000 attendees at that. We will be hosting it at the Four Seasons event. If you came to our last Four Seasons event, which was our venture and capital, it is an incredible venue, absolutely beautiful. It's perfect for a 2-day function like that. So that'll be Feb 26 and Feb 27. That event covers everything from innovation, private credit, small caps, and also we'll be adding private equity to that event as well. So everything we're doing, I said, we're lining up to cover all the areas of interest for us from an opportunity perspective. From the channel partner side, if you'd like to have a chat with me more about that today, happy to have a chat. We've created a structure where effectively industry can work with us or advisors can work with us. So whether you're a lawyer, accountant, corporate advisor, consultant in this space in some way, shape or form, we create a revenue opportunity for you out of it, whether it be with Capital HQ or whether it be with Wholesale Investor directly, right? And then as part of that, you get access to, effectively multi-company management. We've got things like obviously our targeted dedicated emails, promoted and hosted information sessions, CEO interview, all the things that you see us do, inside of, all the things that you see Wholesale Investor do every day. We've incorporated that as part of our enterprise, offering, so that we can really, as I said, enable those that are working with companies that are looking to access capital or that are looking to engage with investors over a period of time. We've just built We've built a specific opportunity around that as well. So happy to have a chat with you about it, and we'll obviously send some more information about it tomorrow. So feel free to express interest. I'm going to do something very, very rare and actually finish ahead of time. But look, as I said, I know I said this when I first started this morning session. There's no doubt, whether you're a small cap listed investor, whether you're an innovation investor, for the ones in private credit, you've had a great last sort of couple of years. And likewise, if you've been involved in sustainability in any way, that's still been a strong growth area. But the reality is it's been a hard market for a lot of people. But the truth is that the foundations are setting up really nicely for what comes next. None of us really know what the full trigger is, whether it is interest rates related, whether it's US elections related, whether it's just market sentiment and cash starting to come off the sidelines. We don't really know what that trigger is to put everyone back into bull mode. Even though markets are up, as I said, stock exchanges are at sort of peak levels at the moment. Specifically, I'm talking about this innovation era. And outside of obviously the Magnificent Seven, when it does, it's going to be super interesting because you're talking about businesses that have learned how to operate lean. You're talking about utilizing software and AI tools which allow them to increase their own product. Like it's absolute, as I said, it's an unfair advantage for everyone in what they actually do. And then you're talking about building teams based on software and their AI solution capability, more so than just one skill set they have. So what teams can do becomes fundamentally phenomenal. So I'm really excited about what comes next from all the layers, whether it be innovation, whether it be private equity, whether it be private credit. There's opportunities for us all over this next period. And likewise, I hope that maybe there's some people that are just investors at the moment and you want to start working on the advisory side. Or if there's professional service providers that want to start being more active in this ecosystem, we just want to provide the solutions and assist with that enablement aspect, whether it be at our events, whether it be online, whether it be from our software. We just want to keep on removing friction from this process. So on that note, I appreciate that I'm getting in the way of between you and food. So I am going to finish my presentation. I want to say thank you for coming. Now, look, what's coming up, I'm just going to tell you, like the panel sessions we've got coming up are absolutely ridiculous. So the first one is come back at 12:30. I'm going to be hosting the panel session, which is around maximizing value, the art and science of business exit. So it's going to go dive deeper into the actual process of building a strategy and building the highest sale value for companies. Then we've got 3 more presentations after that. And then my favorite presentation I'm looking forward to today is at 1:30, and that is from seed to scale, accelerating startups, basically going from seed to scale to exit. I said, all the people I know in this panel, I know them all personally. One of them's been an incredible mentor for me. One of them's been someone that literally I met 2 months ago at one of my events, and it's actually already given me an incredible value for my own business as far as what I want to do. I said that session is probably one of the most valuable ones that I will host, because these guys, and I said, knowing all their stories, they have absolutely been through everything, through navigating COVID, through navigating all sorts of financial issues, through navigating bad shareholders, everything, you name it, they've all been through it and been able to achieve a high value strategic exit. So pumped about that session. And then obviously more presentations, got some incredible companies featuring in the last session, which I know, said they're all got, really, really strong growth tracks. And then finishing with a keynote presentation on scaling AI, which I said, Yash, I swear to God, I could just chat to him for hours just on ideas. Yash is phenomenal when it comes to AI, and everyone needs to understand this, because it's not if it's coming, it's not is it's overhyped. Forget all that shit. It is about absolutely relentlessly scaling and getting a life back. The part I didn't talk about, do you know how nice it is for founders to be able to be absolutely maximize your productivity and actually go home to be a dad or be a husband? It's one of those things we've never really had before as founders and as builders of businesses. And then the last one is the innovative debt solutions. Such a prominent area for everyone and relevant to anyone in this space, because at different times, different companies require different solutions. And as companies become more profitable, debt becomes more relevant, because obviously it's a cheaper form of capital. So that is the day ahead for all of you. We're going to be kicking back off at 12:30. You've now got an hour of networking. Make sure you see all the companies in the exhibition area. So I hope you've enjoyed the presentation so far. Enjoy lunch and see you in the next session.